I noticed that they had Katie Hewlett. Its name, that was barely a sentence. Welcome to Stargatesing, a Stargate gazing podcast. I'm your host, Mary.
And I'm your other host, Kathy.
And each week we review an episode of Stargate alternating between SG-1 and Atlantis. Hello.
Better?
Yes, much better.
Excellent.
You no longer sound like you're calling me from some shitty 1980s early cell phone.
That is great. Now, if only the symphony of leaf blowers will stay out of the background, we'll be golden.
No. Never not leaf blower. All leaf blower all the time.
So much leaf blower.
So much leaf blower happening here, too. Yeah. You're in good company.
'Cause it's a bittersweet symphony that...
I thought it was annoying when my neighbor across the street, trash can on wheels and a shovel getting all the leaves off the street, which I guess nice of them, but that was very loud.
That's weird. You could just leave the leaves. Like, you could just leave them alone and let them get broken down over time and be bug food and fungus food.
Indeed.
And contribute to the ecosystem.
But what is suburbia?
And let the lightning bugs live, Kathy.
What is suburbia without grass that is green and not covered with anything?
It is a place where lightning bugs go to die.
Yep. That's what we're trying to do, kill the lightning bugs.
And also many other insects and plants and animals.
I don't like feeding bees either.
But the bees are what give us food.
No, that comes from meat, Mary. That's not bees.
That's right. I don't know what I was thinking.
We'll be perfectly fine without plants.
Yeah, totally. Yep. I mean, that is a diet that some people are trying. It seems very stupid to me and makes no sense. And it's only a matter of time until they die of scurvy. But here we are.
All gotta die of something.
It's true. It is true. If it's not scurvy, then it's for sure going to be heart disease in those people on the carnivore diet.
Yay.
If anyone listening to this is on the carnivore diet, I am not sorry. It is a terrible diet. What the fuck are you doing? Knock it off.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. It's annoying. I'm sick of hearing about this shit.
I believe that. You sound very sincere.
I am sincere. Because there are so many stupid fad diets that have nothing to do with this episode.
That's true.
So I don't know how to segue.
Well, I was gonna.
How was your week?
I was gonna ask how you're doing. My week's been okay. You know, work, cat. This morning, Blue Steel got himself stuck in a paper bag that had handles and then was tearing around the house. And I am chasing him, trying to stop him. Then he tries to run behind the TV with this giant paper bag behind him, and he gets stuck. And I'm like, oh my God, my cat's going to die.
I don't think that would kill a cat.
I don't know. He might have choked himself.
On paper tears.
Yeah. So, but anyway.
Before it can put enough force to choke
I hope
anything.
so. But yeah, we got him out of there.
That's good.
And he seems okay.
I'm
after
sure.
running around. How's your week?
My week was fine. Not overly eventful, which is good, I guess, for the most part. Just lots of grading, lots of writing of exams. And that was about it. But do you know what important day today is?
No, what is today?
It is the 12th anniversary of Lily's Gotcha Day.
It is. That's so exciting.
My baby bear.
Did you get her a cupcake?
We did not. We should have. We're very bad at keeping track of that. Jeff has Time Hop on his phone that sends him pictures of things that happened on that date in various years, and that is the only thing that reminds us that it was her Gotcha Day today, because he saw pictures from 12 years ago today.
Oh,
He's my little baby bear.
I forgot about Time Hop.
Yeah. I never use it, but he does, and sometimes sends me delightful pictures from it.
Nice.
Like Lily when we first got her.
Oh.
When she was all sad and skinny and didn't have her full ruffle fluffle lion's mane that she has now.
Well, now she's all fluffy and whiny.
She is. Yes. Well, she's always been whiny, but she wasn't fluffy back then.
Yay, fluffy Lily.
Yeah. My good bear. So that's our excitement today. I have no segue. That has nothing to do with this episode.
Know where there weren't any pets? Don't know. That's
sure.
terrible.
Where were there no pets?
Atlantis.
Yes.
It wasn't even, that's such a vague segue too.
I think it's dumb that they can't have any pets there. I think Dr. Weir should have a dog. She clearly likes dogs.
Rodney could have taken his cat instead of leaving it with the neighbor.
He could have. Should have been able to.
Yeah.
He should have been able to. What is this episode that we are talking about today that takes place mostly in Atlantis, but also partly on Earth.
And on the Daedalus.
Yes, indeed.
This is Stargate Atlantis, Season 3, Episode 8, McKay and Mrs. Miller.
It is.
We start in a living room. Particularly, we start on some stuffed animals that are in the room. And we zoom out and we see there's a kid playing in the room with presumably her mom.
I would assume.
Yes. We do know it is her mom at some point, but it could have been a babysitter.
It's true.
The kid's playing. The mom is talking to her and playing with her, which is a nice thing for moms to do.
It is. I imagine.
My mom was like, go play, leave me alone.
My mom did frequently play with us, but not being a mom myself. That's why I say I imagine.
Yeah.
But yes, my mom played games with us, and I appreciated it.
She could have when I was really young, and I just don't remember. But once we were old enough to be mobile and remember things, she's like,
oh, fair. I was thinking about way back when I was the same age as this kid. My mom would play My Little Ponies with me.
That's so great.
It was.
Yeah. My mom was probably like, you have a brother. That's enough. Go play.
This was when I was so young that my sister was in school and I was not.
Oh. I don't remember being in school when my brother wasn't, but that must have happened. Anyway, this is not important. This woman and her child playing is important.
Yes.
She suddenly, though, stops playing with her child.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
As she's overcome with something that prompts her to grab some finger paint and go to town.
Did she really have nothing better to write with than some finger paint?
I was wondering that too, especially as we will see, she wrote quite a lot.
Yeah. And it would have taken up way less paper and space and been way less messy if she was using a pen.
Agreed.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves here, I suppose.
She's not just writing on regular 8.5, 11 paper. They've got an easel with a larger pad of paper, drawing paper there. Or finger paint paper, but mom's using all the paint. Not for the kids. Later, a guy comes in. Probably the dad.
Most likely.
And her husband. He's calling out for the kid.
Name out!
And goes into the living room to find the kid just kind of being there. Not playing anymore, I don't think.
No, just staring off into the middle distance.
Watching, as we see, the entire room has been filled with pages and pages of finger paints from her mom that look like some kind of math. And she's there, we see, and he addresses her. And suddenly she comes out of her little math trance.
There was no fugue state.
Sure.
Yeah.
And asks how her day was. And she looks around and, look at all this math I've done. So strange.
Bit of a math fugue.
Indeed. They've had a talk about it later and are getting ready for bed. He's urging her to send it off to some professor. She's like, oh no, he doesn't have time to look at my nonsense. Which don't put your work down, lady. And he's like, they don't look nonsensical. And she's like, like you would know. And he's like, yeah, I know. I only did English in college, so I'm dumb. But she does apparently send the math off. How do you think she did that? Do you think she transcribed it again? Or took pictures?
I would hope she rewrote it in pen.
Look at my crazy finger paints!
Yeah.
Just sends the whole the giant paper over. I think that's what happened.
That stuff tends to chip, too, and I would imagine she would have to send it. So do you think he just got, half of it? And that's why chaos ensues later? Because some pieces fell off?
It could be. Because at some point later, we learn that she did send it because someone's at her door.
There's somebody at the door.
Not just anyone, it's Sam. We finally learn her name is Jean Miller. Sam addresses her, and then she introduces herself as Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Samantha Dr. Carter. And she's like, did you send that math proof off to this professor at California Institute of Technology? And then finally, we are with Rodney and Zelenka in Atlantis. Shepard comes in and tells Rodney he's got to head back to Earth right now because Sam needs his help. And he's like, obviously she needs my help. And he asks with what? And Shepard says, your sister. What? Jean Miller?
Dun, dun, dun.
Rodney's sister? What?
Is she his actual sister? Because I noticed
She sure is.
Okay. I noticed that they had Katie Hewlett's name pop up at the bottom of the screen. And I was like, did they get his actual sister?
They did.
Nice.
I read that Joseph Malazzi's recount on his Reddit post said that they had initially, in the episode where Rodney mentions his sister earlier, he was initially going to be brother, but David Hewlett asked them to change it because he had a sister who was an actor and maybe she could play his sister if they ever needed a sister for Rodney. And then he also said she did audition for it and nailed it.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
After credits, we are in the gate room. Sam welcomes Rodney back to Earth. He is not in any mood to talk. He seems like he's kind of in a rush. He asks what his sister has done. Sam sarcastically says, yeah, good to see you too. But then Rodney says, yes, greetings, all that. What has she done? They head off to Sam's lab. Sometime later, we see the two of them. Rodney is reading through a bunch of papers, which are apparently the proof that his sister wrote. And Rodney thinks some of it's kind of good. It's very interesting. He hasn't gotten too far in it yet. And he's surprised, though, how good it is, seeing as she's been out of the game so long. And by game, he means that she hasn't published in theoretical physics in about 4 years or so. Rodney elaborates that she was on the fast track to some exciting grants, and she was no Rodney, but she was definitely at least a Sam. But then she got pregnant by some English major, and she dropped out of school. Sam asked what the last time was that he spoke to her, and that was 4 years ago, which Sam is very shocked about. How often does she talk to her brother, though? It doesn't seem like
just wondering
they talk that often.
Yeah.
And didn't they also say she'd gone a couple of years at least without talking to her dad? So why does she find that so surprising?
That is a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam.
Yeah. But yeah, Sam indignantly asks 4 years, and Rodney says, well, I've at least checked to make sure she was published. And she wasn't, obviously, because he said that she hasn't published anything. They talk about what this proof could mean, which we don't get to find out yet. And Rodney says, well, yeah, if it checks out. Sam tells him that it checks out. Rodney is still skeptical, but she says more seriously, no, it checks out. Trust me. When Sam talked to her, Jeannie said that it just came to her when she was playing with her daughter. She got a notion out of nowhere. Rodney indignantly says, you didn't tell her I've been trying to prove something like this myself, did you? Sam says, no, not exactly. And first Rodney is relieved, but then he's indignant and wants to know why she hasn't. And then she reminds him, the whole confidentiality clearance thing. Speaking of which, she won't sign a confidentiality agreement that we want her to sign so that we can continue to work with her on this. Rodney says, well, fine, forget her. We will continue to work on this ourselves. But nope, that is not what Rodney was brought back for. Rodney needs to go talk to Jeannie and try to convince her to sign the non-disclosure agreement so that they can do more work on this.
I mean, that's nice, not just stealing her work.
Yes.
Like Rodney wants to, I guess.
Right. I guess. But also, I think part of it is they want to make sure that nobody else gets their hands on this, since I don't imagine too many other people would know how to apply it or have the means to apply it. But if the proof was out there, theoretically, other people could apply it.
That is true. That professor, he might have told Sam, but he could have told all the physics world.
He could have.
The whole game might be in on it now.
How did he know to tell Sam?
Good question. Maybe he's read all of her.
Or do they just watch the mail of all theoretical physicists everywhere?
Maybe. They're on a group chat there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we're back at Jeannie's house. They call her Jeannie throughout, even though Sam addressed her as Jean. I'm just going to throw that out there. She gets a knock at the door and opens it to find Rodney standing there with flowers. I'm not a fan of the shirt over the shirt combo he's wearing.
I used to wear it all the time. Oh, I didn't notice his shirt over the shirt combo. I noticed her shirt over the shirt combo that she wore.
Okay, yeah, no, the one he's wearing I just didn't like. It's just an open, button-down shirt over a long-sleeve t-shirt, and I don't know. It just wasn't a good combo, I thought, but...
I often wear a button-down shirt over another shirt in the form of a flannel shirt.
I think that's more acceptable, personally.
Okay.
His wasn't flannel.
Kathy's judging my fashion choices.
I'm judging Rodney's fashion choices. And yours.
Bitch.
I'm always judging you and your fashion choices.
Kathy's a jerk.
That is true.
Kathy's big jerk face.
I'm the biggest jerk, especially because I am such a fashion guru
It's true. Kathy never stops talking about fashion. I get sick of hearing
That's
about
right,
it.
and I am the snazziest of dressers.
Comfort casual.
Yeah. She is very surprised to see him
Surprise, motherfucker.
because it's been 4 years, as we already know. She just asks why he's there. He's like, I just can't stop by and say hi? No, dumbass. We all know you're there for a reason. She knows too. And she says, and you've never done something like this, so yeah, no, you can't do this. He's like, well, I've been so busy. I do a lot of traveling for work, and I was out of town and blah, blah, blah. All these excuses for not talking to his sister. So he holds out the flowers, and she realizes he's there because of the physics proof, she says. And he says, no, of course, maybe that's part of the reason, but, also. And she is incensed to find out he works for the U.S. government, but he says, nope, I work for a multinational oversight committee, and she is not having it. She wants nothing to do with the U.S. military or whatever they're trying to do here. He tells her to sign the damn agreement. She refuses. She does not like the concept of getting proprietary about research and ideas and thinks that's everything wrong with science today. And then goes on a rant about genes being patented by pharmaceutical corporations. And she just wants her work to spark ideas in someone else. So she's not going to sign her rights away, especially to the U.S. military. Good thinking, Jeannie. But Rodney's like, it did spark an idea, but I can't tell you about it until you sign this agreement. And she is like, no, you have to tell me first. So impasse. But they get a little break because Jeannie's husband comes in. Does he ever get a name?
And the aptly named Sir not appearing in this film.
He does. It's Caleb.
Caleb, that's right. Okay, thank you.
I don't know why this transcript just refers to him as Miller throughout, but that's what they chose to do.
He comes in to check on them, asks if everything is all right. She's like, look who showed up, and he has no idea who Rodney is. She's like, my brother. And he's like, oh, yeah, hey, hi. Madison, also the child. Madison, did I ever say her name?
I don't remember.
Her name's Madison. She also greets Rodney and just hugs him and asks if he brought her a present. Rodney says he didn't know that was a rule, so he didn't. She says it is. And that was very funny, I thought.
Yes, agree.
Caleb invites him to stay for dinner. And Rodney says, yeah, actually, I am starving. And Caleb is like, I hope you like tofu chicken. And Rodney is horrified and says, I hope he's kidding. So they're going to have some meal.
Indeed. For the record, what she said about pharmaceutical companies patenting genes, that actually used to be true, but that in 2013, well after this was recorded, the Supreme Court outlawed patenting of genes.
Ah, excellent. Well, maybe they'll reverse it along with all the other decisions they're reversing.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Just yet another way for things to be terrible.
But yay for now, that's not true.
Yes. Patenting genes that naturally exist in our bodies that is stupid. You can still patent one if you are doing genetic research and you are making new gene sequences.
Okay.
To cure diseases or whatever, you can patent those. But if it's ones that are naturally found, you cannot patent those.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Later, it's dinner time. Rodney is not too thrilled with the tofu chicken. Everyone else is done eating, so Caleb is going to go take Madison to give her a bath while Jeannie and McKay catch up. Rodney awkwardly says, wow, she's sure grown, huh? Jeannie asks, since she was born? Yes, she has. But Rodney doesn't want to waste any more of her time. He just needs her to come with him right now because her proof could lead to something groundbreaking. Jeannie asks how long she'd be gone. Rodney says a couple months at most, but Jeannie can't leave her daughter that long, and she's got a ballet recital next Tuesday. Rodney asks how good she could possibly be when she's just 4, which I thought was rather funny. But Jeannie doesn't think that that's the point. She's got responsibilities here, and Rodney tells her that this is bigger than her responsibilities. They just go back and forth for a bit about Rodney not ever approving of her life choices and trying to make her decisions for her and all of that. And eventually, when Rodney realizes that he's not getting anywhere, he says that she's left him with no choice. So he pulls something out of his pocket and asks Jeannie to give him his hand. So she does. He pushes a button, and then they are Asgard beamed up to the Daedalus. Jeannie is, of course, very surprised that they're no longer in her kitchen where they had been. And he tells her that it's teleportation. She says, well, that's not even real. You just experienced it. So I don't really know why it took seeing the Earth out the window to convince her that she had teleported, but that is what it took. She didn't believe that she had teleported until he turned her around to show her the Earth outside of the giant wall-sized window. She had tried to argue that teleportation was about as impossible as time travel, but of course we all know that that is not impossible either in this timeline. Worth mentioning, Sam is there, and she gave Rodney a funny look when Jeannie had said that. Jeannie wants to know why they're weightless. Sam tells her it's because they have artificial gravity, and yes, that's North America, and yes, you are in geosynchronous orbit. That's when they tell her a bit more about the Stargate program and wormholes, etc., being able to move from one end of the galaxy to the other or even another galaxy because of these wormholes and the interstellar travel that they're capable of. And that's when Jeannie asks, what have you gotten yourself involved in here, Meredith? To which Sam incredulously asks, Meredith? And yes, it turns out that is Rodney's real name. Meredith Rodney McKay. He goes by his middle name for fairly obvious reasons. But apparently his sister still calls him Meredith. Sam was very delighted. It was amusing.
Yes.
They give Jeannie a little bit more information about the Daedalus here and about the creatures that they've been trying to fight, the alien-like creatures. And Jeannie's work is really important. They can't do it without her, Sam emphasizes. Although Rodney protests at that, but Sam's pretty adamant they can't do this without Jeannie's help. She just needs to take a second to think about it, and thinks about the fact that somewhere down there on Earth, her husband is giving her daughter a bath.
Wouldn't he be freaking out that she just disappeared, not giving his daughter a bath?
He wasn't in there.
But wouldn't he, have noticed in these few minutes that his wife disappeared and Rodney?
Maybe, but I don't know. Might take a while to give the kid a bath. We don't know how long it's been. But ultimately, yes, you would think he would come downstairs and wonder where the hell she went. Maybe they're back by the time that happens.
Maybe. Because next they see they are back and they're getting ready for bed. She's filled him in on everything. And he tells her she's got to go. And she says she knows. So then next we see she's gone. She's on the Daedalus. And the Daedalus is headed towards Atlantis. Rodney asks her what she told Caleb, and she said the truth. And he's like, do you know what non-disclosure means? And she's like, we don't keep secrets from each other. We can keep them from other people.
I don't think that's how NDAs work. But
I don't think so either, but, hand wavy time, I guess.
Yeah.
Rodney's not going to report her for telling her husband, I assume.
I would assume. Although he doesn't like Caleb, so maybe he would.
She tells me that's concerned that he might get assassinated for being told. And she asks, that won't happen, right? And Rodney says, probably not. So very reassuring.
Yes.
They go into a lab on the Daedalus and they talk to Sam on a monitor because she's not coming along. She's got too much going on here. I wonder what that is that's going on in this galaxy.
Blah, 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 Ori, blah, 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 weapon.
Yep. She catches Jeannie up before they're out of range, so she tells him about how Rodney found an alien experiment a while back, and it was trying to generate 0-point energy, which is, their ZPM technology. So when Jeannie asks what happened, because that would be virtually limitless power, she says, and Rodney's like, yeah, creating the particles, it created particles in the containment field, and Sam adds he destroyed a solar system. She is incensed and gives him a smack. He says it was uninhabited. It's fine. So they've been trying to work on using this technology anyway, this time by drawing the energy from a different space-time, a parallel world. And that would keep those dangerous particles from generating in their own space-time. This is where we learn her theory that she's come up with is about bridging universes. So somehow that's going to help them finish off this major scientific discovery, experiment, whatever.
Yeah, hypothesis,
yeah. She does say, aren't you worried about the exotic particles crossing back over her bridge? And Sam says, oh, it's one way. Don't worry. It's going to be great. We can manage that flow perfectly, like a faucet. Jeannie asks, what about the parallel universe you're creating all the terrible particles in? Aren't you going to cause a massive problem on their side? And Sam says, maybe, but since there's an infinite number of parallel universes, the chances that one will have anything in it is minimal. So it's going to be fine.
I don't know why she made that assumption.
Me either.
I would think it would be an equal chance of there being life in that universe as there would be for having life in this universe.
Yeah,
so
but
that seemed like a weird assertion.
Yes, especially because it is wrong.
Yes.
Jeannie takes a moment to taunt Rodney and says she solved his problem in her spare time with finger paints. Says she can't imagine how he's surviving the humiliation. And he says that if it wasn't for his work, her little theory would be useless. And Sam stops them, says, siblings, please. And they both say sorry. And Sam is amused by the way they say sorry in their Canadian way.
Their cute little Canadian way, specifically, Sam says.
Sam signs off, and they're going to get working.
And they do. We get some scenes of them working and hear some of their conversation, but none of it really made much sense to me, so we can go ahead and skip over that. We get a scene of them checking in with Hermione. Jeannie looks shocked to be having a conversation with an obvious alien, but Hermione affirms that their equations are correct, so we flash forward to a lab. Zelenka is helping out here. He's monitoring a bunch of systems, and there's beeps and boops happening. There's a message for schematics that Rodney has sent to him in Atlantis from the Daedalus, and we hear Rodney saying that Atlantis already has a containment chamber that they can use. So this is voiceover happening as we're watching Zelenka look at the information that they've sent him. And then sometime still further later, they're apparently ready to test this thing. How long have they... I mean, it can't have been that long. It takes 2 weeks to get from Earth to Atlantis. This just seems like an oddly short amount of time, but who knows?
Yeah. Don't know.
Yeah. Sometime less than 2 weeks later, they're ready to test it. We get a bunch of back and forth between Hermione's lab on the Daedalus and the lab in Atlantis, confirming the equations, confirming that everybody is ready, and then they start the thing up, and it seems to work. The monitor that they're looking at has a green wave on it, so that's confirmation it's working, apparently, because Zelenka says, "We have it, people!" Woo! And everyone cheers. Woo!
Go science.
Yeah, and Zelenka says just in time, although just in time for what, I don't know. Maybe dinner time.
Then we're in the gate room. Shepard and Weir they're talking about Rodney and his sister. Weir asks if he's mentioned her at all to Shepard, and Shepard says once or twice, in the sense of even my sister can do it, which is mean.
Yes.
So mean. He's so mean.
He is.
They meet up with Zelenka, who says everything's green and they're ready to power up, and Weir also says just in time, and Zelenka's like, I just said that. Ah! And Rodney and Jeannie beam in. She is not fond of the beaming.
Yeah.
She says that can't be good for you, and Shepard says, don't worry about it. I've done it dozens of times, and introduces himself. Rodney immediately tells him she's married and his sister, and calls Shepard Kirk. So back off, Shepard. Oh, Rodney. Weir introduces herself and welcomes her to Atlantis. Jeannie says, Mare's told me so much about you, and Shepard's like, did you just call him Mare? Rodney says it's a pet name and quickly moves on. He asks where they are. Zelenka says they're all in the green again, ready to go.
Oh, yeah, I guess those were simulations before, not the actual thing.
Oh, okay. I guess. God. So I guess they get to do it. So Jeannie is very impressed. She says, that's amazing, and tells Zelenka excellent work.
She's also surprised at how soon they got that done.
Yes. And Zelenka's surprised to hear anyone related to Rodney complimenting him. And he says, thank you. And Rodney says, we try not to encourage him. He's got an ego. Oh, Rodney. So yay, they're all there.
Yeah, they are all there, and they are ready to do the real thing this time. Everything in the containment field is in the green. Their monitors are green. Everything continues to be green.
Green.
Everyone confirms that everything is green. They keep talking about green, and they said it like 6 times over the course of about 30 seconds. They do love green. They're ready to initiate their power up. Rodney goes to turn it on, but Jeannie asks if he wants to turn it on together.
Hello, Smithers.
You're quite good at turning me on.
You probably should ignore that.
Rodney doesn't understand why, but Jeannie says because it's both of our work. Zelenka says that Rodney likes to push buttons. And Jeannie says it's fine. Rodney can go ahead and push the button. And it is on, and it's powering up. We see circles on a screen that are now gold instead of green, and it seems to be working. Their containment field is working, and also they are generating power at a steady rate. So it was at this point that I finally realized, oh, okay, they're using this for power. Because I really was not actually sure up until this point when they said power generation is steady, what exactly they were trying to accomplish. But apparently that's it. They're using this hopefully to replace ZPMs, at least on Atlantis. So they're holding steady at 5%. They're going to maybe try to stay out on the safe side and keep it there for a while. At least that's what Jeannie thinks that they should do. And yeah, so that's it. Jeannie's going to head off to her quarters, and everybody kind of goes their own way.
Yep. Except for the, one person, two people left to monitor this thing while everyone else gets to sleep.
The two no-named characters who have to stay and monitor this thing running at 5%. Yeah. Yes. I meant all of the named characters.
I know. I was just segueing into the next scene.
Fair. Yes, there are still two people there.
The two people left to monitor the situation realize there's a problem. There's a bright light happening in the chamber that they've got. So she tells the other technician to shut it down.
I've never seen anything like this before. I don't know.
I'm not interested in your opinion. Just shut it off.
They get a message on the screen that there's a foreign object in containment chamber.
Yeah, that seems bad.
The female technician, I guess we'll go with, tells the other one to go get Zelenka. Which I thought was funny. They know to get Zelenka, I think, not Rodney in the middle of the night. I don't know.
Don't wait, Daddy!
Zelenka's really the one that does all the work.
He does.
He's kind of like the Chucknician or the Pwalter of their theoretical physics department here.
Yeah. So while that person's running off to get more people, we see in the chamber some glowing that turns off. And what do we see in the chamber? It's Rodney in his Terminator 2 pose.
He even has a Terminator 2 style leather jacket. Although when Terminator is in that pose, of course, he is not wearing a leather jacket yet.
I guess it's, at least he's not naked. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, he gets up and hops out of the chamber and is like, oh, it worked. Zelenka's arrived and asks what Rodney's doing. And he's like, Radek? And Zelenka's like, yeah. And he says he needs to speak to whoever's in charge of this project. And Zelenka's like, that's you? Rodney's like, I gotta speak to me then.
Sometime later, or elsewhere, Rodney comes into the mess hall to find the rest of Team Shart laughing hysterically with Jeannie. Apparently she has told them all his name, and Shepard is just tickled about that. The team has shown her around, and they've given her a meal, and they've just been having a good chat. It's been a good morning or day, whatever time it is. Rodney wants to know what they've been talking about, but Taylor says it's all been all kinds of things, not just stuff about you, although apparently they do know about his bedwetting issues that he had when he was a kid, as well as the time that he wore his underwear on his head to school because somebody made him do that. A bully made him do that specifically. Poor Rodney.
That's just a terrible memory. It's mean that she told them about that.
But also, why were there no adults to remedy that situation?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on at that school?
Yeah.
Over the intercom, Weir calls Shepard and Dr. McKay to the isolation room, and of course, Jeannie's going to head out with them.
Yeah. And they head to the isolation room, or at least the observation deck of the isolation room, where they encounter Weir, who is watching on a monitor Rodney. But not the Rodney that walks into the room. And Rodney's like, what? This is crazy. Weir says this is a live closed circuit feed of a man they have in the isolation room. So they walk over to the window to look down, and there is another Rodney who has appeared out of thin air in the containment chamber. Weir says that Zelenka's working on it, and they've shut down the project, obviously. Shepard asks how he got in there, and she says he's from a parallel universe. Or so he says. And Jeannie is like using the odds against this for astronomical. She's mad. Rodney says, you saw the math. It was fine. And she's like, clearly we were wrong. Rodney's like, well, he's here. So what does he want? And that is to talk to Rodney. And Rodney is like, you're coming with me, Jeannie, because we're sharing the credit. Remember, just like you like. So they're going to head down to talk to this other Rodney McKay.
What math were they using to figure out how likely it was that there would be somebody in another universe that they happened to connect to?
The Sam math? I don't know. I don't know.
I guess maybe the Fermi equation, but I don't know that would really apply. Who knows? Down in the isolation room, Rodney and Jeannie head in. And other Rodney says, wow, he figured that Rodney would be there, but had no idea Jeannie was going to be there, although he'd always hoped that he could work together with his sister in Atlantis someday. Jeannie seems surprised. Everybody seems surprised, really. And we learned that the other Rodney actually goes by Rod, which Rodney's a bit jealous of because he said he wanted people to call him Rod, but it never stuck.
Aww.
Rod says that he is assuming that they were making an experiment that it was designed to bridge parallel universes for power generation or something along those lines. Am I getting close? And yes, of course he's getting close. He says, well, I don't know if the experiment has been so successful on your side, but over on my side, it's kind of ruining everything. And there are dangerous particles that are basically destroying our universe. So that's bad.
The toppings contain potassium benzoate. That's bad.
These particles don't belong in either universe that is on either side of this bridge, Jeannie affirms, and Rod says, so you knew this could happen? And Rodney awkwardly answers, yes, we knew it might be possible. Up in the isolation room, Shepard mutters to, I think Tayla and Ronan were both up there with him. He mutters that it's weird, and we hear the conversation continuing down in the isolation room that yes, Jeannie was correct, because there are particles that don't behave in any way that the laws of physics say that they are supposed to in Rod's version of space-time. So they are tearing the fabric of his universe apart, and that's bad.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Very, very bad.
Indeed. Jeannie says, first a solar system, now a universe. It's not all his fault, Jeannie. You were involved, too. Come on.
It's true. Now she doesn't want to take credit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Rodney asks Rod how he got there, and Rod says that when they detected the anomaly, they figured that they could maneuver one of their jumpers close and broadcast a signal to basically teleport him through. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently it worked, and so it was able to send him there. He had to wear the ancient personal force field in order to not get destroyed in that process, but yeah, apparently it worked.
Yeah.
Rodney sheepishly says that he depleted their ancient personal force fields.
Rod continues to explain how he got there, what went into it. He said they had to draw straws to figure out who would go. Rodney's like, you lost. And he's like, no, I won, obviously. I get to save an entire universe. It's the best. Which I think is kind of weird because I think Rodney would reluctantly do it. He'd do it.
Yeah.
Our Rodney's not that cowardly.
Yeah. No, we've seen him do brave things before that seemed ill-advised, but he did them anyway.
Yeah. Jeannie says, we're so sorry. And Rod's like, well, maybe you could shut down the experiment. Rodney says, we already did, and we're not going to start it back up again based on what you're telling us, obviously. And Rod's like, cool. All right. I've done what I needed to do. Good times, everyone. Rodney asks, were you planning to go back to your own universe? And Rod's like, yeah, no, I'm stuck here.
Yep. One-way trip.
One-way trip. They've got two Rodneys now.
No, you're thinking of someone with two knives.
I gotta tell you, this is pretty terrific. Yeah.
Lucky them.
Yep.
Sometime later, they are in the guest quarters. Shepard and Rodney are there, as are Rod and Jeannie. And Jeannie is learning more about her alternate self. In Rod's universe, she has 3 kids. Rod is sure that this Jeannie is as great of a mother as his Jeannie back on his universe. And he even has photographs to show her, so she finds it adorable to see. He says her future kids. How would he know that these would be her future children?
They're just alternate children, guys. Come on, Rod.
Yeah. It didn't make any sense to me that he was calling them her future children because, I mean, he's not from the future. He's from an alternate universe, but whatever. Out in the hallway sometime later, Rodney asks Shepard what the game plan is here. And Shepard's like, well, we put him in the guest quarters, and that's the plan, apparently. But Rodney says, no, we can't keep him. Shepard points out, though, that he can't go back, so they don't really have a choice. What else are they going to do? They can't really send him to Earth, so...
Kill him!
Yeah, Rod, yes, or they could kill him, I suppose. But that is not an option they bring up. Shepard says that Rod would rather be on Atlantis than head back to Earth. And Rodney doesn't think that that seems fair at all. But really, what are the other choices? Where are they going to put him if they send him back to Earth? So they just continue to argue back and forth about which Rodney is the more valid and real Rodney. Shepard tries to argue that Rod is just as real as Rodney is. He's just from a different place. And ultimately, Shepard just cuts him off and says, whatever you say, Meredith.
Aw.
Yeah.
And then it's a daytime next, and Rod and Shepard are playing golf. Well, not playing golf. They're hitting golf balls into the ocean. Which seems like a very useful and efficient way to use golf balls.
It does. It's better than hitting them into your neighbor's backyard over their fence, though, which is what our neighbor does.
That's true.
Yeah.
At least they're not hitting them into somebody else's yard.
Yeah.
Rod's pretty impressed. He says they don't have one of these where he's from, and I'm not sure what he was referring to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
A deck, a set of golf clubs? Who knows?
An ocean? Like, I don't know. Like, it could be anything.
It could be literally anything.
Doesn't look like anything to me.
He also says the other Shepard, they would have had to take a cattle prod to him to get him out this early to play golf. And Shepard's like, oh, he's a late night partier, huh? And Rod's like, no, actually, he's very active in the Mensa Club, and they have a lot of functions.
I would also never get up early to play golf.
No, me either.
I don't like being up early in general, but I will get up early for the right reason. However, golf is not one of them.
Golf's never a reason for me to do anything.
No.
Shepard's like, well, I can't blame a man for his intelligence. And Rod says, no, I can blame him for reminding me about it all the time. So apparently Shepard there is very proud of his intelligence, unlike this Shepard who
apparently
hides it a lot.
Yes.
Rod says, their Rodney is modest in comparison to his Shepard. And Shepard's like, well, you're real different too from our Rodney. Like, you like golf. You say please and thank you. And you're the opposite of condescending. And so, yeah, learning a little bit about the differences between the universes and the Rodneys. And they continue golfing.
They do.
Or hitting golf balls.
And then sometimes later, I guess we can call it Team Shart because we've got Rod there instead of Rodney.
Oh, yeah.
So Team Shart and Jeannie are there. Alternate Team Shart. All talking and having a good time. Rodney comes in and asks what the hell this is. Apparently, Rodney's just gotten up, so Shepard just calls him Sleepyhead. And Rod was here early with Jeannie, and they had had a breakfast, apparently. And then the rest of the team just kind of showed up and decided to join. They are tracing back differences in their lives. Specifically, Rod and Jeannie are to figure out what things were similar and which things were different. We find out that Rod is an honorary member of the Athosian Council and is also the godfather to his niece and nephews. But Rod also goes on to say that they have a ZPM on Earth, so it makes it way easier to travel back and forth between Atlantis and Earth. So he's trying to at least give Rodney a little bit of credit here for it not being too easy for him to get to Earth and back.
Yeah.
Then over the intercom, Zelenka asks the doctors McKay to go to the containment chamber, so they need to head out. Ronan asks Rod if they're still on to spar later, and Rod is very excited about that. Says absolutely.
Well, this Rod is very friendly.
And then they have a fancy handshake as Rod gets ready to leave.
That's really funny, too.
Yes.
How'd they have time to do this?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Then we're at the containment chamber. It's on, apparently. Rodney's like, you started it again? And Zelenka said that shutting it down made things worse, not better, because the bridge is active, but they're not drawing power. It's creating pressure. It's going to cause a catastrophic overload. Terrible. And they're like, oh, whoops. We should have thought of that.
Yeah.
There's a little bickering back and forth between Rodney and Jeannie, and Rod brings it back and is like, okay, well, this is a temporary solution. My Zelenka says there's probably a week and a half before the tear expands as far as his Atlantis. So they've got a little bit of time to work on this. But if they don't come up with a solution, chaos, entropy. It could expand to subspace layers underneath their space-time, and his entire universe could be flashed out of existence.
That seems bad.
Bad.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So they gotta fix that. So let's get to work, guys. And they're like, yep, we're on it. Boom.
A bit later on, they're basically just sciencing. Rodney and Jeannie are arguing a little bit away from Rod about how Jeannie is basically, according to Rodney, kind of acting like Rod is her brother, and he's reminding her that he is her real brother. But she asks, are you though? Because I haven't seen you in like 4 years, so you're not being a very good brother, really. And they continue to talk about that for a while. And again, the fact that he's never shown up for birthdays or Christmas, has been judging all of her decisions, and just basically lost any interest in her once she dropped out of school. But then Rod comes over and asks if they've got anything, but Jeannie says no, they do not. Later in Shepard's quarters, Shepard is there cleaning his golf clubs with a toothbrush, which I thought was really weird.
Is that a thing? I don't
have any idea, but it seemed strange to me. Rodney is there too, complaining about how Rod is just slowing him down. Shepard is surprised because he thought 2 of him would speed things up. But no, that is not what Rodney says is actually happening. Maybe Rod is lying about being a genius. Maybe only our Rodney is the genius. Rodney wonders if maybe Rod was lying about why he came here, and suggests that maybe people on Atlantis were sick of him messing up all the time and so sent him here. So maybe Rod is just a fuck up. That's what Rodney wants to believe. Shepard calls Rodney out on the real situation, which is that he's jealous of Rod, and that he's also afraid that Janie likes Rod more than she likes Rodney because he hasn't been a very good brother. He's been an absent brother, and they go back and forth about that for a bit. But ultimately, Rodney seems to realize that, yeah, Shepard might be right about that. Over the intercom, Zelenka calls Rodney to the containment chamber again, so that cuts off their conversation.
Rodney arrives at the containment chamber, where Jeannie, Zelenka, and Rod are already gathered. They've somehow received a message from the parallel world, and that is that the exotic particle problem is spinning out of control even faster than they thought it would. But they come with solution. And Rodney's like, that's great. And Rod's like, no, actually, though, the solution would destroy Atlantis and tear a hole in the fabric of this universe. So
great.
Not the best solution, but at least it would save the other universe. So they gather in the conference room with Dr. Weir to talk about the situation. Rod says, so it sounds like the solution is going to happen on the other side of the universe. The solution they came up with, they're going to do it and it affects this universe.
Yes, the solution that the other universe came up with was that they were going to basically shoot the particles back through into this universe, and that would result in this universe being destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, will have the same effect as what's happening to their universe currently, which it will eventually swallow up the entire galaxy and maybe the universe.
Right. But it'll happen even faster because all the particles are getting sent through at once instead of gradually.
Say they have the other side is going to implement their plan in 6 hours, so they've got a little bit of time to work on this. Rod says we have an idea, and McKay's like, actually, Jeannie had an idea, so he's trying to score points with his sister. Jeannie says they think they can collapse the bridge with a massive burst of energy from this side, which would stop the creation of exotic particles and make everything better.
Yeah, it would get rid of them from the other side too, somehow for MacGuffin reasons.
However, the bad part is that they're going to possibly severely deplete their ZPM in the process. So their entire experiment is an epic failure then, because as Weir says, instead of creating a new powerful energy source, they'll be sacrificing the one they already have.
That's bad.
Very, very bad. But they say they don't have a choice, so they're going to do that. And I'm glad they did not they were forced, their hand was forced, obviously, but I'm glad they didn't contemplate trying to do something terrible to the other side first.
Right. That would have been very shitty.
Yes.
Back at the containment chamber, Zelenka, Jeannie, and Rodney are there. Zelenka is skeptical about what they have just said about their plan and asks if Dr. Weir gave the okay. Rodney says yeah, because the other alternative was that this universe be destroyed if the other universe went through with their plan. Rodney asks if Zelenka would prefer that, but no, Zelenka says not really. Rod is there too and asks if he can talk to Rodney. He has an idea where if he can beam into the energy stream as they are pulling off this plan here, using the Daedalus to help with that, and he uses his personal force field to protect himself, then he supposedly would be transported back to his own universe? Maybe? Rodney had already thought of that but didn't bring it up because he wasn't sure if it would work, but Rod is willing to take the risk. And he's already asked the Daedalus to execute the transport to the coordinates inside the chamber on his mark, if Rodney is willing to go along with that. Rodney seems a bit confused and says, everybody loves you here. Why would you want to leave? And Rod points out, well, as weird as my Shepard is, and as much as he sucks for being a know-it-all, apparently his Taylor is also hard to talk to, and Ronan's similar enough, but that's his home and that's his team, and they're his people, so Rod wants to go back to his people, which is understandable.
Yep.
And Rod says that he envies Rodney because he says what's on his mind no matter how it makes him look, even if that means people don't necessarily like him. Rodney's like, people don't like me? What? So Rod's got some calculations and they put together their plan and they're going to make this work. They're going to beam him into the beam and they have a little goodbye. Jeannie hears what's going on and is surprised that Rodney is going to let him do this. But Rodney says, well, it's kind of his decision.
Yeah.
I tried to talk him out of it, but you know Rod. So, yeah, the plan goes into place. Hermione beams Rodney out of the isolation room here and they start the thing. Rodney lets Jeannie push the button this time. And they've got power turned all the way up to full. It seems to maybe be working. They tell Hermione to commence transport. Transport is complete, Hermione confirms. Jeannie says the bridge is starting to destabilize, but it's not enough yet. The ZPM is only at 50% currently. I wonder what it started at, but we don't really know.
Yeah.
But Zelenka says it's not enough. They still haven't fixed the problem yet. So they're going to have to keep going. Rodney's keeping an eye on the ZPM and says it's down to 30%. Finally, the bridge starts collapsing. But they can't shut it down now because according to those readings, if they shut it down now, Rodney won't make it somehow. So they have to give it a few more seconds. Rodney insists that they leave it open long enough to give Rod the chance to make it through. Finally, he tells them when it's okay to cut power, and the ZPM is at 0. It says on the screen, 0 point module depleted. So that's bad. Rodney seems completely crushed that he has drained all of it, as he says. But Jeannie tells him he did the right thing. Rodney guesses he would have done the same thing for himself, but also thinks he's going to be fired.
Later, a video. We get to see the video of Rodney talking to his sister when they all thought they might die. So we get to see that video again about how he was, not a great brother and he knew it and all this stuff. And we see that Jeannie is watching this. Shepard let her see it. And she is like, I've seen 3 sides of my brother now. So crazy. Rodney comes in to ask what they're up to, and Shepard says, nope, we're still just swapping stories about you, trying to help her fall asleep, he says. So Shepard leaves, and Rodney and Jeannie have a little chat. She's all packed to go. Rodney reports he hasn't been fired, since even though they depleted the ZPM, they did prevent the destruction of a universe, including their own, so yay. So he's still got a job. He also stole a trinket from Weir's office to give to Madison because there is not a Toys R Us nearby, he says. So I'm sure that child will love whatever that little figurine was.
It looked like a Buddha statue to me, a seated Buddha, which, yes, weird choice for a thing to give to a child who is not Buddhist. Maybe a more normal gift if the child was Buddhist, but presumably she's not.
Yeah. Jeannie packs it away and says she'd say see you around, but... And then Rodney attempts to say literally anything, but fails. And she says thanks for trying. And then he gives her a hug and asks, how are you? Are you happy? Which is one of the things that she said was the very least he could have done earlier in this episode, is check in on her. Yeah. And she says she is. And he says that their intergalactic gate network will be done soon, so maybe I'll see you in less than 4 years' time. And she says, at Christmas? And he says, if you can get Caleb to not make tofurkey, maybe I'll be there. She says no promises. So, aww.
Later on, we are in the mess hall. Rodney enters, and once again, everybody, by everybody, I mean Shepard, Rodney, and Taylor, are all having a good time, all laughing. Rodney asks if he's just not getting the team emails anymore, and apparently they're all talking about Rod. Rodney is a bit perturbed to find out. Taylor wonders if he made it back to his universe okay, but Rodney can't really confirm whether or not he did, but doubts that Rod will be back. And Shepard says, good, we all found him kind of creepy. Rodney's a little bit delighted to hear that. He kind of perks up at that, and he's like, really? Ronan says that he can't stand people who are that nice all the time because it makes him feel like that person's trying to hide something. And Taylor says that apparently he was trying to correct her on her own Athosian history, and she got sick of that very quickly. Even Shepard says, yeah, that guy was kind of annoying. And Rodney's delighted to hear all of that from him. Do you think that they meant it, or do you think that they're just saying that to make him feel better now that Rod has left?
It's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I do buy that Ronan doesn't like nice people.
Yeah, that's definitely very believable.
And nobody should be correcting Taylor on anything ever.
No, agree. Very much agree. So Rodney pulls up a chair and asks everyone else what's been happening, and they have a little casual chat, and we find out that Taylor's got the hots for one of the new Marines, which she protests isn't true, but everyone else says, no, that's totally true. And that's the end of that episode.
Yeah.
Kathy, did you like the episode?
I did like the episode. It was fun to see Rodney interacting with his sister and other Rod and getting his sort of, because it was fun to see, like, you know, you're seeing an alternate version of yourself. We get to see this other Rod that is different from Rodney, and then we get to see Rodney's sister, who clearly for her, Rodney's not a good brother. So I think it just gives Rodney more things for him to work on and improve on, which he's already been improving on himself throughout this series.
Yeah.
So I thought that was good. It was also very amusing. I know they're actually siblings, but they had a very good sibling chemistry on screen as well.
They did.
Yeah. I like that they created a problem, then they fixed their problem, but creating more problems. It was all fun. I really liked it.
Excellent.
How about you?
I did enjoy this episode. I found it to be entertaining. It was like a good crossover episode, so I was delighted to see Sam show up. I wasn't expecting her to be in it for a bit at the beginning there, so that was great. And I agree that it was fun to see David Hewlett acting with his sister, playing his sister. So that was entertaining as well. And learning a little bit more of Rodney's backstory is always amusing too. And as you said, it's nice to see that he's continuing to grow as a person in many different ways, not just the ones that we've already seen, but apparently in other ways also. And agreed that it was just an entertaining episode all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
Agreed. Will next time be good times?
Next is Stargate SG-1 Season 10, Episode 9, Company of Thieves. Cameron Mitchell must go undercover inside the deadly Lucian Alliance to prevent his teammates from becoming casualties of an Alliance civil war. That was TVDB. Let me unbury the booklet here. According to the booklet... Ooh, I'm like, where the hell is it? It's a different page. Turning the page. It's the last page. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
On the last page of the booklet. Or last two pages, I guess. Last open folded pages of the booklet. Season 10, Episode 9, Company of Thieves. According to the booklet, Mitchell goes undercover to track down the Odyssey, which SG-1 believes was hijacked by the Lucian Alliance.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
It could be fun.
I don't have many memories of this.
Yeah, I don't remember this, so is it going to be an Action Mitchell episode? Or is it just going to be like infiltration spy shit? I don't know. We'll find out.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The thumbnail over on TVDB doesn't really give away any information. It just shows Mitchell and some random guy whose face is shrouded in shadow. Standing.
Yeah.
Just standing there looking concerned. So, yeah.
Yeah, I really don't remember a lot of these late SG-1 episodes at all.
I don't either, because as much as I've watched this show, I've never really watched past season 8 in my rewatches.
It's best to just think it ends at season 8.
That's why I've always stopped at season 8 when I've rewatched it since my first watch through. Yep.
Maybe this one will change your mind.
Yep. Surely so. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Thank you so much for listening to Stargatesing with Kathy and Mary. Our fully listener-supported program couldn't be done without you. Show your support by telling everyone you know how awesome this show is. Find us at stargatesing.space. Reach us by email at stargatesing@gmail.com. Find us on social media at Blue Sky. Get some merch, tinyurl/stargatesing. And finally, show your financial support at patreon.com/stargatesing. Thank you for traveling through the gate with us. Catch you next time on Stargatesing with Kathy and Mary.
I'm Mary.
I'm Kathy.
And you've been listening to Stargatesing, the end.
The end. Wow, I mooshed those together. It sounded like Rodney's sister.
It did.
I was saying Rodney and his sister.